the warm hearts and the open arms. You don't get that everywhere in the world, you really don't. And many people have told me that when you go to Mexico, you'll really get to see how awesome the people are and how kind they are, and it's really been that way, so I appreciate that. So thank you very much. It's been great. So I want to share my story with you a little bit first. For today, you're going to have a great day. This day is full with training. You're going to learn everything you need to know, the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s of how to build this business. We're going to teach you how to share Octubre. We're going to teach you how to recruit. We're going to teach you how to build your business. We're going to teach you how to plug into the Nerium system. And I believe really when you leave here today, you'll have a good understanding of how to launch your business. It's the first training for many of you, but it hopefully will not be the last. It's something you'll come back to over and over to perfect the skills. But before we go into the training today, what we wanted to do is just give you more of that corporate welcome to the company and introduce you to the people behind the scenes, like Dennis Windsor and Alfonso Todd, and you're going to hear from Roy Truitt, the president of International for Nerium. And for myself and my wife Tammy, who couldn't be here, we have two young children, and one of them's in dance and one of them's in baseball, and that means that one of the parents has to be there with them, right? And so we're just real people. We have a regular life. And I want to share my story with you to relate to you a little bit of where Tammy and I started in this industry. Sometimes when you come to a training like this or a presentation like this, you hear all these fancy titles, and I'm not one of these title guys. I mean, it's great. I appreciate the applause, but I'm just a regular guy. I really am. I spent most of my life in the Navy. I messed this business up when I first started. I made every single mistake you could possibly make. So if you've made some mistakes, you can be successful here, okay? I've made lots of them. But I'm just going to give you a little of our background so that we can start the beginning of hopefully a very long-term relationship. And so for me personally, I grew up in Boston. And you might pick up some of my accent. It's a little bit different than just a regular American accent. And so Boston has some different words. So if they don't make sense, you'll understand why. And so growing up in Boston, I didn't grow up in New England and come from money. I didn't go to a fancy college. I didn't live in a fancy house. My parents didn't drive a fancy car. I can remember when I was a kid, there was no back seat in my dad's car, and he had milk crates. And that was kind of funny because my friends always wanted to ride with my dad because it was like a carnival. Right? You sit in the back, it was like a roller coaster. When he turned the car, the milk crate would tip. You'd have to hold onto the back, right? And so I definitely didn't come from money, and the reason I share that with you is sometimes when you get introduced on stage, you want to relate to the person. Do they really know what it's like to start? Where did they start from? Do they know what it's like to be a parent, how to build the business while you're busy? Okay, so that's the reason I'm sharing with you this story. And so growing up, my parents both worked 2 jobs my entire life. They provided a great life. I never went without food or anything like that, but I would definitely classify us as somebody that definitely grew up without money. I grew up in probably a low income, would be classified as a lower income area. But I had great parents that pushed me, go to school, get good grades, work hard, have 1 job, have 2 jobs, even as a little kid. Whenever school was out, I had a job. I had a very strict family, very strict dad. And so once I graduated high school, I went to college, and I didn't do that great in college. I found out that if you party too much in school, you don't get to stay in school. Okay, and that's what happened to me. So I went to college, and it just didn't work out. I'm not a good student in reading books. I'm a good student when someone will hold my hand and show me what to do, but I'm not that good of a student to sit there and read the book. I have to read it 10 times to understand it. That's just the type of person I am. And so my dad, I wasn't doing that well in life. I was kind of getting off track. And my dad, who's about 280 pounds, big guy, was in the military, worked in a shipyard, he sat me down one day and he said, "Mark, I'm going to give you 2 choices. You can join the Navy or you can join the Navy. Which one's it going to be?" Okay, and so for me, I said, "Dad, that's a great idea. I think I should probably join the Navy." And so that was probably the best decision I ever made in my life. Not that it was all my own decision. And so I joined the U.S. military and the U.S. Navy, and I spent a long time there. And I had a great career, got a great education. My goal was I wanted to be a heart surgeon. And so I was in the medical field as a combat medic with the Marines pretty much my whole career. And then I actually did start studying, and I got into a cardiovascular program. I wanted to be a heart surgeon. You know, go from really not doing well in school to really wanting to go and become a doctor, which is kind of a crazy story for me to tell. And you know, life kind of becomes real to you. I got married, we had our first child. We were struggling still financially. The military income is not that great an income. It's a great job, it's a great career, a lot of teamwork, a lot of personal satisfaction, but not a lot of income. And so at that point, being newly married, my wife Tammy and I, we were struggling. We used to say there's too much month at the end of the money. The month just kept going, the money ran out about halfway through, okay? And so we were living, I tell people, I grew up on the ramen noodle diet. Do they sell ramen noodles in Mexico? Right, I lived on ramen noodles for years. I know 40 different ways to cook ramen noodles. I can teach you, okay? And so that's what we lived on for a long, long time. Some of my friends that came in from the US that are here today have known me that long. And so for Tammy and I, you know, we were both working hard. I was in the Navy and in school. She was a full-time college student. She had a full-time job. We were expecting our first child. And all of a sudden, we started to really think, like, we're not going to make it. We need to really go out there. We need to do something. We need to create a business. So, you know, you can only work so many jobs. You got 2 jobs. It's not that exciting to look for the 3rd job. And so, luckily, this industry showed up in our life. The industry of relationship marketing. And that was about 15 years ago. And when we first got started, we were not who you see today, okay? We weren't number 1 at anything, okay? They told us to go right, we went left. They told us to read this book, we didn't read it. They told us on how to build the business, we did the exact opposite. Why? I have no idea, okay? That's just, we thought we knew what we were doing. And so over time, little by little, we failed for a long time. We really did. And it was our fault. We didn't plug in, we didn't follow the system, we didn't do what they told us to do. So we really failed for a long time. But once, it's kind of, I tell people, once our stomachs got really hungry, in other words, we really got broke, we started to listen more. And I went to my mentors, and one of my mentors is the owner and founder, Jeff Olson of Nerium International. And I said, this business is not working for me. It was another company, it wasn't Nerium. And he sat me down, he said, Mark, you've got to be consistent. You've got to come to all the events. You've got to listen to the people on stage. They're only trying to teach you how to make it. And so over time, my wife Tammy and I, we really plugged into the system. And we really went through the journey. And I wouldn't give the journey up for anything. It was an amazing journey. And over time, we started to get that success. But it didn't come overnight. I got to tell you, my first opportunity in relationship marketing wasn't Nerium. What we have today in Nerium, I've never seen in a direct sales company anywhere in the world. I didn't have that. You guys have that. You're starting in a company that's so far ahead of where most companies start. And so for many, many years of our struggle is because we didn't have some of the things that you're going to have access to right away. But once we started to, you know, get the money to come into the household, we were able to start paying off some of our credit cards, and I remember one of our goals was, let's go out to eat once a month. That was a big goal in my life. Let's go to a restaurant once a month. That's where we started. And the reason I share that with you today is so that you can know, wherever you are today, wherever you are, there's some people in here right now that really need to make it happen quick. There's others in here, you have a good job, you make good money, but you don't have time. You work. You go to work, it's dark. You come home, it's dark. When you're not working, you're sleeping, okay? And your kids are wondering, where's mom, where's dad? So there's different types of people in here. Some have a good job making the money, but they want their life back. They want time. They want to be with their family. Others, hey, look, I got a job, it doesn't pay me what I'm worth, and I want to make what I'm worth. I want to get more income into my household. And so the reason I share my story is you can be whoever you want to be here. It doesn't matter what you've done in your life prior to today. It doesn't matter your education level. It doesn't matter what school you went to, if you went to school. It doesn't matter what city you live in. None of that matters here at Nerium. You get to start today, draw your line in the sand, and go for it. That's what today's about, the ability for you to go for it. You guys ready to go for it? Great. So for Tammy and I, getting to know the founder of Nerium International and making a decision to join Nerium was a big decision in our life. We were starting over. You know, we had already achieved a certain level of success. We had become debt-free, and we were homeschooling our children, traveling the world. Life was really, really good. And then the founder of Nerium approaches us, and we talk about Nerium International. And it was kind of funny because as a guy, I wasn't thinking, Navy guy, I'm gonna go sell skincare. I would have never thought that. I couldn't imagine that I would sell skincare as a guy. And what I found out, as you can see, there's a lot of men here today, is our product is so awesome and it's so right for both men and women of all ages that it really clicked with me. And the size of this industry, the anti-aging space, and where this industry is going. You know, Dennis talked about it. It's scheduled to be $1 trillion industry in the next 10 or so years. Think about that for a second. You sit here today, and outside of this arena, you could talk to 100 people in Mexico, and 99.9% of the time, they have never heard of Nerium International. That's when you know you're in the right place at the right time. You have a real opportunity to be the first, ground floor, first mover's advantage, to really be at the very, very beginning of an amazing run that we're going to have as a company. Not only here in Mexico, but around the world. But for you, this is your backyard. It starts right here. It starts today with each and every one of us. So I'm very, very excited about that. So that's kind of Tammy and I's story. Just want to kind of relate to you a little bit on kind of what our journey was. Wasn't always roses. You know, sometimes, like I say, when you see the guy or the gal on stage, you think, oh wow, their life must be perfect. They signed up and went right to the top. That's not real. That's not real life. Real life is you sign up, you learn how to do it, you fall down a little bit, you make a few mistakes, you ask questions, you come to some events, you learn more, you go try it again. So I want to prepare you. This is a real business. And so don't expect overnight success, although you can go as fast as you want. Give it time. This is something that will pay you long term, so give it a commitment. I always tell people, when you sign up in Nerium, make a 1-year commitment to your family. Make a 1 year. You can have a 1 week goal, or you can have a goal for your first month, but have a 1 year commitment. Set a goal with your family that 1 year that you're going to give this thing one hard year. Now, you might say, well, Mark, I have 3 children, I have a job, my wife has a job, or my husband has a job. We can only do this a few hours a week. That's okay. That's where Tammy and I started in this industry. I really probably only had 5-6 hours a week when I first started. And little by little, I got more hours back in my life and was able to put more time towards the business. And so, in general, you will find our leaders, and there's many of them that will cross the stage. Today's our first official launch here in Mexico. But what you will find is Tammy and I, we're no different than any other leader in this company. You'll find they all have stories. They all have families. Some of them came from very, very tough lives. Some of them came from good lives, but didn't have time freedom to really go out there and enjoy themselves. Maybe they had some money, but didn't have that time. But one common thread that you'll find here at Nerium International is that word real is totally authentic here. Real people running real lives in a real business with real products, real results, and real compensation. You will find that. And our leaders are authentic. I encourage you, when you meet our leaders afterwards, and we're going to all go over to the Intercontinental, you're invited to come over to the lobby and we're going to spend some time together. You'll find how authentic these leaders are. They really want you to win. They really want to help you. It's not just sign you up into Nerium and here's a book that teaches you how to do it. That's not what we do here at Nerium. We spend time with you. We're going to be on conference calls with you. You're going to have lots of leaders flying here to Mexico to work with you. And I've got to tell you, we need you. We need you all. And there's some of you in here, you want to be a leader in this company. Some of you in here, you say, man, I want to be that guy or gal on stage. Great. We want you to excel and do that. We got a lot of them, right? Lots of them. Help us, right? We want you on stage. For others, you may say, I never want to be on stage. I was scared. I'm scared right now that my heart's going like this. Okay, it never goes away. You accept it over time. But some of you say, I never want to be on stage. That's okay. You don't ever have to be on stage. It's what you want out of this business. The system is here to support all of us. Let's talk a little bit for a moment about relationship marketing, our industry. I think this is one of the most beautiful industries out there, and here's the reason why. It allows people like you and I a fair chance at success. I don't think in most areas of life it's fair. And those are the cards that were dealt to us. Unfortunately, sometimes you look at the cards that were dealt to you and you go, man, this isn't fair. So-and-so, they had a leg up, they had a better opportunity. This other person down the road, man, their parents sent them to a better school. Sometimes and I've been that person in my life where I've sat down, man, you know what? My friends had a better opportunity, but here's one thing I learned. It doesn't matter of the cards that were dealt to you, because you can reshuffle those cards anytime you want to. Today's about reshuffling those cards, redrawing out some of those goals that you may have lost or you may have given up on. You might have even quit on some goals. I've quit on goals before in my life. But what this industry does is it doesn't judge you. It doesn't judge anything about you. This industry says, you're here, you're part of the Nerium family, let's get you started. Half the battle is showing up. It really is. Half the battle. It's a Saturday. Do I go to a soccer game or do I go to the Nerium launch? Do I go hang out at the park or do I go to the Nerium launch? It's so easy not to show up. So really half of the success is just getting here, showing up, attending the events, plugging into the system. But the fairest opportunity out there, in my opinion, in the world is this industry, because it doesn't judge you. It says, you want to join this great industry, you want to join this great company, here's our training, here's our tools, welcome to our family, let's go take this to the world. That's what this industry is really about. However, okay, sometimes people want to know what's the catch. You guys want to know what the catch is? You've got to do the work. You've got to do the work. Nothing in life is free, okay? I love what Dennis says. This business is not going to be the easiest thing you've ever done, but this business, I like to tell people, if you'll give a little bit of your life to this company will help give you your life back. It really, really will, but it's going to take work. If it's part-time, spare time, full-time, it's going to take work. Thank you. And so, I kind of have a saying, we're going to work probably for the rest of our lives anyways. Why not do it here? Why not have fun? Why not make good money? Why not qualify for an Audi car they're giving us a car bonus? Why not help our friends prosper? Why not meet friends that people you never knew that you would meet? I never knew I'd be standing here in Mexico City meeting all of you here. I'm just a kid from East Boston that barely made it through school. Now I'm in Mexico City on this giant stage talking to you all about the same thing that someone talked to me about. But I believed it when I heard it. When I sat in an audience like this for the first time, it wasn't this big, and it wasn't in Mexico. It was in a small little hotel room in Rockville, Maryland. I was still in the Navy. I remember I showed up. I had a blue jogging suit on. I didn't really own a lot of clothes. I had my Navy uniform and just a couple of civilian clothes. And so I had a Navy jogging suit on, and everybody had a fancy suit. And I can remember it like it was yesterday, 15 years ago. I walked down this aisle to get to the room to see a presentation for my first time. And my wife and I turned the corner, and everybody looked like $1 million. Everybody. Their suits, their fancy dresses. And my wife and I came around the corner, and we looked at each other. Oh man, I got a jogging suit on. Blue, it says Navy all the way down the side. I was kind of embarrassed a little bit. And for a moment, my wife and I were going to make a decision to leave. We weren't going to go to the presentation. And we kind of stepped away and like, oh man, they didn't tell us to dress up. It's not that we had dressy stuff. But you know, we looked at each other, we go, you know, we don't have a choice. You know, we're already working 100 hours a week. We're already broke. We're already struggling. You know, our baby's going to be born in a month. We need to do this thing. We need to go see what these people are talking about. And so we got ourselves into that room and heard a presentation very similar to this. And I focused in on that presenter and I said, you know what? That guy is no better than me. He might be making more money, but money's not everything. I don't care about that. But if he can have success, why can't I? Why is he better? What's he doing? What's he doing that I can't do? I want you to look at it like that today. I want you to look at every single person that crosses the stage, and I want you to say, you know what? They're no different than any of you out here. Nothing. They all have a story. They all have a family. They've all had ups and downs in their lives. They'll all go through the things that we all go through. It's real life. But here's the one thing that they did. They made a decision in their life. They said, you know what? I'm going to decide to do this Nerium thing. I'm going to make this business happen for me. I'm going to be there to make this work for my family. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to set goals. And I don't care about being the fastest person. I just want to finish the race. That's what I want you to do today. I want you to have that in your mind as you go through an entire day of training. I want you to see these people as people that are just like you and I. And if they can do it, you can do it. Do you believe you can do it? Awesome. So let's talk about Nerium as a company. Okay, so my job today is really to just kind of talk a little bit about our story and kind of where we came from, talk a little bit about you and how you kind of plug in, and Nerium International, the Nerium system. One of the things about Nerium that's very, very different than most companies out there is we have one team in this company, one team. And some of you may have been in this industry before. And this is, like I said, it's a beautiful industry, but there are some things in this industry that people don't like. People don't like the shady things that can happen in this industry. And one of the things that we're proud of here at Nerium is we run a clean business. We run a fair business. We have one team. We're all doing this together. And we don't like the things that get created out there sometimes in other companies where if you're not on this person's team, you can't sit in this area. Or if you're not in that person's team, you know, we only help certain people. I'm so proud that Nerium from day one said we will never do that as a company. We're all in Nerium. We're all on the same team. We're all working together to build a great company. And that's why Nerium has had such huge success in only 3 short years. And what I'm going to ask you for is some help. Being Mexico's official launch here today, is you all are the founding brand partners of Nerium Mexico. Think about that. You're the founding brand partners. Yeah, there's other brand partners in some of the cities throughout Mexico, but this is a large group. You look around and you go, well, there's a lot of people here. We're a breadcrumb right now in Mexico. What's there, 25 million people just in Mexico City? We haven't even scratched the surface. We haven't even begun. These seats that you sit in here today have never been sat in. They really haven't. That's how I look at it. Think about it. For 3 years, Mexico, the people of Mexico have been waiting for this moment, begging Nerium, when are you going to open Mexico? When are you going to open Mexico? We opened Mexico, okay? We are ready. But what we need your help with is we want to continue the great company that we started in the United States and took to Canada and now to Mexico. We want you to help us keep it to our core values. It's a family-run, family-fun, family-friendly business. We want you to help each other. We want you to believe in each other. Even if you're not in the same group and you don't make money if this person right here sells a bottle of Octubre, if they have a question, take a moment to help them if you have the answer. If they need to introduce you to one of their guests and they're not on your team, it doesn't matter, because if we're all on the same team, that doesn't matter, right? And so that's something that only you all can help us with, because it's your country, you're the founding brand partners, and if you have that mindset, if you help each other and you leave here today and you say, we're a one team, we're Nerium Mexico, we're gonna integrate with this Nerium rhythm, we will continue that unbelievable company that we've built in the United States and Canada with your help. You guys willing to help us with that? Awesome, I appreciate that. And so, what do we do leaving here today? What do we do during the day here and getting our notes and then taking it home and leaving this arena? I'm going to come back up at the end of the day and just address that. But putting you in the right mindset this afternoon is very, very important. And step one is you need to set a goal. Some of you set a goal when you were a child, and over time life kicks in and you lose thought, lose focus on that goal. Some of you have goals that you have, but you don't want to tell anybody because you don't want them to laugh at you. I remember I told my friends I had a goal, I was going to be in the Navy. Man, you barely made it through school. How are you going to join the military? And then when I was in the military, I told some of my friends, I'm going to work from home. I'm going to be a work from home dad. My friends laughed at me. Oh, that's crazy. How are you going to make money working from home? And then when I told them I was going to go full time in this business, they said, oh, that's a dumb idea. You'll never make it. You got to realize that it doesn't matter what the people are saying around you. It matters what's in your heart and what you want for you and your family. And today is about you setting those goals. That's the first step in today, is revitalize some of those goals and reset some of those goals. And we're going to give you the roadmap today to achieve those goals. It's not going to all get done in one day, but today is the day that it starts. Today is the beginning of the rest of your life. So I appreciate you guys. I will be back up a little bit later. Thank you, and have a great day. Take care, everyone.